Hello, I'm Terry Sacka, Chief Strategist. This is the Wealth Transfer. We're along with Dr. Charles Vance, and we want to welcome you. We've been having a series that has detailed and outlined the Chinese and Russians' strategy. They've been hoarding a lot of gold, and we were kind of curious as why Americans stopped buying it. We do understand the Trump trance, but we started outlining that. If you have not, or you're new to the show, or if you haven't seen the past programs, we encourage you to go to wealthtransfernews.org, go to the weekly television show, and take a look at these back editions. Send it to your friends, link it, put it on social media. They're going to want to know this. This is data that's raw and real. China is setting up for something, and we're trying to let the kingdom know, why aren't we? What do they know that we don't know? And as I've been saying every week so far, are we the only ones that believe us? That just might be the case. So, Dr. Charles Vance, how you doing?
I'm good. You keep talking about the Trump trance. I personally like President Trump. I think you do as well.
So I should say what that means. Okay, the Trump trance.
Yeah, you should. So somebody might think really, that's a remark or something.
Oh, no, I'm so thankful for President Trump, and better than Antichrist we were going to have in Clinton. But what I'm saying, Trump trance, is we became, as a kingdom, I think as a big chunk of the nation, we became so like, phew, the whole world's saved.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to be concerned. Everything's booming. The markets are moving great. We're going to go back to the 60s. Everything's going to be fixed. We're going to get our Supreme Court. We're going to keep our guns. We can relax now. That's the Trump trance. Folks, nothing's changed. The data hasn't changed. What you think has changed, what they're telling you, mostly a lie. Okay, granted, some jobs are coming in and this and that. Oh, no, folks, it's not true. As far as the broader spectrum of global financial data, man, that tsunami's right there. And so what we've done is we've outlined why was China ferociously in the first quarter here buying a lot of gold? Why are they dumping the U.S. bonds? What do they know we don't know? And we were showing you. Now we're getting into the U.S. data. We're going to finish up today with some really good stuff, showing you how we've been deceived, how they've been lying to us, because the data doesn't lie. Mainstream media does, your mainstream financial media does, but not the raw data. I'm glad it's not me. I'm just merely here to be the messenger, that's all.
Well, and we've got some good information this week if people act on it. Now,
well, good point there.
The problem is you can have all the information, all the knowledge, all the truth, and all the facts that could possibly be given to you, but if you're complacent, I've found that complacency is one of the biggest dangers to anyone ever being successful in anything that they do. If you become complacent where you are, think, well, we're okay, we can just sit here, we're fine, we'll just flow with everything and let everything flow around us because it's working kind of good. After all, we live in America. It's a very dangerous place to be. Complacency in a marriage is a really bad place to be. Take your wife some flowers or a flower or some candy, or even a candy bar every once in a while, guys. Don't be complacent, because somebody else will probably be flirting with your wife if you become complacent.
How about the wives bring us some chocolate?
My wife actually does bring me chocolates on occasion, and she buys me flowers on
Charles
occasion.
Has so much chocolate and candy on his desk, and it's not just one time.
Well, it is until Terry gets here. And then
oh, that's not true. That's not true. He
Sydney,
forces it
if you're
on me.
watching, you know he eats like crazy when he's here taping, and you need to get somebody to police that.
Charles is always eating pies and stuff in front of me. What am I supposed to say?
But here's the fact. If people become complacent, we're carrying on a little bit, obviously, but if people become complacent, it becomes extremely dangerous. If you become complacent with your finances, the way the financial system is moving in the world today, it will be extremely dangerous for you. You need to be very aware of what's going on. That's what this program is about,
especially
making people aware.
Yes, and especially when they see the data. I'm going to jump right in because we do have a lot to get to on this. I want to try to end the series here today if we can. But this is raw data, and what this is comparing the silver and gold to the S&P 500, which is, one of the major indexes of the stock market. And I want you to know something very unique here, because what I'm trying to show is the deception and how it kicked in hardcore, and why I know for a fact it's all fake. This chart literally is a piece. Now that goes all the way back literally to like 1997 on the left. And then you notice it goes up. We have the crash in 9/11. It goes up. We have the crash in 2008. Look at the skyrocket straight up since 2008 market crash. All money printing. Now, here's what I want you to see. You notice the red is gold and silver. The black is the S&P. You see the spike right there in 2011 where gold and silver went all the way to the top? And you see how it collapsed? Look where the S&P is right now. That's right, folks. That is raw evidence of why gold and silver are incredibly undervalued. And more importantly, look at the blue arrow. It's where they announced the QE3. Not only did they announce a massive money printing finagle, they did paper selling in gold and silver to collapse that price. Because look at the red line, how it collapsed all the way down, almost 41% in the last 4 years.
Now, QE is simply that
Money
they
printing.
printed a bunch of money.
Yeah. And you notice how the S&P kept going straight up? And you guys, Americans all think, hey, the markets are going great. And gold and silver shut down. But did you notice something on the left? Did you notice how gold, silver, and the markets traveled together? That is normal. When they did this, what I call correlation disconnect, that is when the manipulation took place. If you notice, like as I said on the spike, gold and silver should be a lot higher, definitely matching the S&P, and that's why we know there's a tremendous upside to the gold and silver and a tremendous downside to the market system. Folks, you can't make this chart up. I just can't. And we're going to encourage you. I know Wealth Transfer is nonprofit, and a lot of folks constantly been asking, yeah, I can see this on TV, but I need to look at it more. I wish you didn't. I wish it was longer. I wish I could see it better. A lot of these charts are going to be available in our partnership back area with those who partner with Wealth Transfer. Our goal is to just get this out as in front of many people as we can. And in order to get on these Christian television and radio stations, we needed to be nonprofit. And of course, the cost is exuberant. We have a wonderful sponsor in Cornerstone, but it's just not enough. And we are looking for partners to help further the cause. We know the wealth transfer is taking place from the wicked to the innocent, but how many people are going to be informed? So in our back portal area, we're going to have all these charts available you can look at, and you make the judgment for yourself. As Fox always says, here it is. You make the call.
You say wicked to the innocent on a fairly regular basis, and it's actually from the sinner to the people that God calls good. Now that's Ecclesiastes 2:26. Now people that are sinners, that term means to miss the mark. There has to be a mark. You got to know that there's a mark somewhere. So he says that if you're missing the mark, he said you're going to lose what you've got, but it's going to be transferred to people that God calls good. Now you find that terminology defined in the parable of the talents in Matthew 25.
Yes.
And people that were good. They remember there was 3 men that were given. One was given 5 talents, one 3, and one 1.
And then the one that buried it,
he had
to the
1
gnashing of
talent.
teeth. Yeah.
And the scripture said, Jesus said that they were all given according to their own ability, but the one that didn't do anything with his, that was taken from him and given to the man. Now, I know this is totally against all of the socialistic ideas today. It was given to the man that worked and moved and traded 5 talents and made 10 talents out of it.
I think that's fantastic.
And it's the way God does things. He says that's what he calls good. Now that's what I want people to understand. It's management. If you're a good manager, God's going to put his blessings on that. You've got to take facts, you've got to process them properly, and not just sit on them without doing anything. That's what the guy did that buried the talent.
Well, and you know what's sad is Americans in general, we're listening to other people like the financial advisors, and God bless them if they're good people. It's nothing to do with that. We're listening to the wrong information, folks. No different than the Israelis did when Moses went up. They listened to the wrong information. They listened to the witchcraft. They listened to those that were embedded with them, and then they started turning the golden calf and worshiping it. We're listening to the wrong information. I'm just telling you, it's not about that. What the markets are doing in the stock and bond market that your advisors have you, and especially in those IRAs, they're not giving you a percentage gain remotely to what silver and gold has done over the term of 10, 15 years. And in lieu of what's coming, definitely where it's going. So it's just unfortunate. Be very cautious on what you're listening to, and I would probably encourage you to pray. I do know most people that seem to go into the precious metal are those that have a really good connection in the Holy Spirit, and the Spirit's telling them, get yourself protected. So there's a reason that we're outlining this, because we wanted to show, why does China feel so confident in doing all of this? Why are they setting themselves up for the dominance next to just power, and they're communists? But what do they know? See, they know this data that I'm showing you. That's why. So this whole thing is about China setting this thing up. They're going to pounce on us when this takes place. And if you're not in the right place and they pounce, it's going to be a hurt, folks. And you think 2008 was bad. Remember, this is not fear. This is not bad. It's just the reality of the global system. That's why we know the reckoning is there. So, let's take a quick break, and then we'll get right into this. We'll be right back.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you secure your financial future by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. The protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. And for a limited time, Cornerstone will waive your first-year transfer and setup fees when you roll over your current IRA into a gold or silver IRA. That can save you as much as $1,000. Take control of your future. Register on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or give us a call at 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.
We appreciate you joining us on the program today. This program has been set aside. It was interesting last week. Terry said something about being on television. The reason we're here is to help you. We had to twist your arm to get on television. He said something to the nature, we want to get on as many stations as we can to get this message to as many people as we can. And he didn't want to do this at all when we first started.
I'm all in. Enough's enough. Let's go. Let's get it done, right? Because I realize how lied to we are. And as a financial advisor, I saw it firsthand. That's why I walked away and I got into natural resources. I got into analysis, and all this others. I know I'm not in that lie anymore. I'm in the fire and the power of the Holy Spirit, and I've been shown the truth. So.
And we told you, we had ganged up on you, me and my wife and your wife ganged up and said, people need to know what you know, what you know is truth, and that's where this program was birthed from.
And that's very humbling, and I do appreciate that. I'm an avid study, and I'll take on anyone, Lincoln Douglas, I just will. What we talked about before when we were showing the gold and silver, and we were saying how America has been manipulating the prices, and they're doing it through the COMEX. And the COMEX is where the contracts, futures contracts, are traded that are supposedly for physical delivery. And now it's just not true. I know, and China knows, that the COMEX and basically America is broke when it comes to gold and silver. Check out this image right here. Can't make this stuff up, folks. This is a warning for a warning that the shelves are empty in our market system.
I would say that anybody that owes $20 trillion is broke.
Well, but now our assets, we think we have gold. Check this out. COMEX registered gold storage.
Wow.
All the way back from 2006 when our real estate markets collapsed to now. Look at the number on the right. Folks, there is no gold left in the shelves, in the vaults of the COMEX. And then look at the bottom one. These are the number of people who own the ounces of gold. That's paper. So it's a staggering number of people who own the paper, but there's no physical to deliver to them. I don't know about you. To me, that's called Ponzi. That's called illegal. Yep. It's shyster. It's smoke and mirrors. It's shell game. You saw that chart. I'm not making that up. There is no gold in the COMEX to give to the bottom chart of people who have contracts to receive.
Terry, these
What's
people,
going on, right?
They're not shy about telling people this.
No, because they have a way of just making it
it's
big
okay.
deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. But it is a big deal
Yes,
because China knows this. Where'd that gold go? Folks, it went to China. And of course to some Americans, but mostly China. And what else do they know? Why our system is in trouble? I don't want to get caught. I don't want your IRA to get caught short. That's why it's vital to get your hands on some before it's too late. But look at this. This is in the United States is our personal income. Over all these last 10 years or so. Now this goes back to the 1971 era, 1980. Look at from 1980 to today, where our personal income level is. We have been making less and less and less as inflation was going higher and higher and higher. And the red box on the right has been ever since the 2008 Great Depression, recession, and I'm doing that on purpose. Look at our income levels collapsing. Folks, that's not good. We're making less, and yet we have more burden of inflation. And all the jobs, 90% of the jobs created under Barack Hussein Obama was part-time. That's right. There's no personal income growth there. And yet goods and services are infinitely more expensive. So what is our biggest problem going forward? Minus all the financial reckonings, minus everything in front of us. We've been spared the Antichrist of Hillary Clinton. We've been spared the socialism of Bernie Sanders and the underground socialists of the Clintons and their group. I mean, you even got Van Jones running a TV program on the Communist News Network, the CNN. And Van Jones is a known communist. I'm telling you, folks, are we just boing? You know what we are, though? We're one generation away from being this. Now, they call them this, but this is what we're one generation away from. That's right. What is that? That's a beautiful picture of a snowflake. Actually, I took that on a ski mountain on our jacket, but that's a snowflake. Now, what is a snowflake? You've heard the term. I'm being really sarcastic right now. Snowflakes, as they term it, are these kids in the university system. You ask them what a snowflake is, it's a minority, it's a Muslim, it's a woman, it's a homosexual, it's everything but a white man. You notice the attack is on white man? It's ridiculous. That is the devil dividing us. That is the devil teaching these children this hatred. That was Barack Hussein's job and what he did here socially. That's our danger. These snowflakes who need diapers to get through college, who need crayons to deal with Trump's presidency, these are our future generation and leaders. We're done. So if we don't get it figured out now, the future can't be, because these snowflakes, they're barely able to breathe without having an emotional breakdown. I'm concerned. Now, it's not all of them. I say it's 80-20. There's still some strong, solid, dynamic, Christian, educated children.
That generation, for the most part, has had everything handed to them.
Yes.
They don't know what correction is.
Yes.
And it has created a serious, serious social problem.
And what it is they felt like they have a right to your stuff.
Absolutely.
I used to go during the election time when people would have Sanders for president. And if they had like an ice cream or a soda in their hand or whatever, I'd walk up and say, hey, I want that ice cream. Give it to me right now. And they obviously would be like, no, go away. No. You advocate for taking something that's not yours and taking it. So I want your soda. If you're really true to your word and your principle, give me what you have right now, and then you'll understand what it means. Folks, it doesn't make any sense, but this is the generation we're in. So I want to get into, for those who didn't believe it took place, I'm here to tell you it did. For those that did understand or got into the whole Shemitah cycle with Jonathan Cahn and such, it was absolutely on target. We had an absolute financial reckoning in 2008. No, I'm sorry, not 2008, 2015, the 7-year mark. In the fall, in September. And here's the chart to prove that. Watch this. Now, before I put it up, in the old days, when this would happen that I'm going to show you, the market system collapsed. What they learned is they got around the collapse by coming in with the plunge protection team, which is the Federal Reserve Bank and the large banks, with fake printed leveraged money that doesn't exist, and they stopped it. And they're not going to always be able to do that, folks. I'm telling you, the reckoning day is coming. But check this out. So for those that didn't believe the Shemitah happened and you moved on so quickly, it was astonishing how Americans don't catch on. But look at the truth right here. Now, I got to put this up full, but something blew up in mid-September, which is exactly the 7-year marker of the Shemitah. That required a massive short-term injection of Treasury collateral into the repo market. Now, look back in 2008, the little blip in the circle. Folks, that was the mortgage collapse derivative. Look at the red square on the right at the top, and look at the spike in the yellow circle at the top on the right.
So are you saying the Feds bought it out by printing more money?
Yes, let's go down to the bottom part. Now, I'll explain that. The bottom part, now look at that. On the left there, $279 billion spike in 2 weeks. And then on the right, a $400 billion spike in 2 weeks. Now, what was that? Some likely culprit was a derivative accident. It wasn't supposed to happen. And you could take that off. There is no way you can tell me, you can't deny this data. We have it. You see, I do algorithm charting on sometimes. I see what we would call high frequency, charting and pushing enough stuff in. What you're looking behind us would have collapsed the entire market system in a spiral sell-off. They came in and saved it. Now, who has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions to do that? One person, Federal Reserve. And folks, the Federal Reserve owns nothing. They're $4 trillion in the hole. They own nothing. Don't think they have gold, by the way. They printed it. And they did this in the market to save it. And they stopped the collapse. If you remember back then in August and September, the markets were really starting to come off. They were almost 10% and beyond. They were on their verge of collapsing. They came in with all this fake money. And since the fall of 2015, here we are today in spring of 17. 2016 was not lucrative. It was absolutely manipulated to make the markets look good. They didn't raise interest rates to make the market look good, to save and give the impression that somehow Obama was great at recovering us from the Depression era, which he was pathetic because we went 10 trillion deeper in debt under him. And this was real. And they were trying to make sure Hillary got elected. Well, that failed, right? Because the grace of God and the fire and power of the Holy Spirit saved us one more time. So be careful. Now, another one I want to show you, because this reckoning, you can't make this stuff up. I'm stunned by this, Charles. I really am. I shouldn't be laughing, but I see the data and I'm shocked how many Americans are not taking it seriously. So this is federal debt held by the public. Why is this important? Because since 2008, our financial situation is predominantly worse for most of us. Our credit card debt's worse. More people are dipping into 401ks. We're deeper in debt as a nation by 10 trillion. And look at this staggering chart of where we're at today in credit and debt. I'm telling you, we're becoming enslaved in a way you'll never know is coming. And a great pastor once told me, I thought this was brilliant. They're trying to take us back to Egypt. Think about what I just said there. Check this out. This is a percentage of the gross domestic product. Now, this goes all the way back to, in the first hump there, back to the Civil War of 1870. Then it comes up to World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II is in the middle spike. Now, what's fascinating about this, folks, World War II debt, look at where we're going now. We are already in the jagged line there, already at World War II level debt to GDP, and you're going to tell me everything's okay?
Terry.
I'm telling you it's not, because look at that projection. And here's the sad part, Charles. You can't control that projection. This is going to implode because the system is done. It's gotten worked out.
Now,
you can't change that chart, folks.
Talking about the federal debt, you're talking about federal
personal. That was personal debt.
Personal debt, but it's
to
federal,
the GDP.
To the GDP.
Gross domestic product,
Okay.
what we produce. So
what
we're showing is
the
people,
debt ratio, people are in debt so much more
Yes.
now than they were.
Yes, they could.
It's historic
Well,
in America.
what they did, yes, that goes back to the Civil War. What it showed is back in the day, people just lived off of what they had.
Sure.
And a great man named J.C. Penney said to his board one day when they introduced credit cards to him, he said, I don't know. He said, if the people that shop at my store can't afford to buy it, maybe they just shouldn't be buying it. But of course, he lost the argument. Everyone has credit cards now. That shows you we Americans are becoming enslaved to the banking system. I'm telling you, folks, if you haven't paid off your credit cards, get there right now. And if you haven't protected yourself, you might want to at least be diversified. Don't get all in the system. With this data point, you can't mess that up. Now, another good point to check. This is the normal potential gross domestic product. Now, this is measured in two ways. It's showing you the expansion of money, and then it shows you personal income moving. If you've noticed, the expansion of money since 1970 off the gold standard has gone up 40 times.
Expansion of money.
Meaning they printed money and put it in the system. But yet, our personal income has only gone up 17 times. That's inflation, what you're looking at right there. It's a measure of that dollar's buying you far less than it used to. Because if you notice on the left, back in like the 1950s, the money supply was equal to what we had because we were on the gold standard. Very, very important.
So what happens when they print more money is it becomes less and less valuable.
That's why things are more expensive.
That's why gasoline costs more.
That's why a loaf of bread's $4 when it used to be 20 cents.
Right.
Look at this next chart. Now, this is very current data of the S&P 500 index to durable good orders. Durable good orders. It's like everything that's in your house. It always tracks together. Durable goods was an indicator, and the market system would travel with durable goods. Check this out. Always going all the way back to 1997 on the left, you see the S&P in the green and durable goods in the red. But what happened? Yep, right there in 2012-11, complete disconnect and correlation break. The S&P kept going up and durable goods went flat. And you're telling me the economy's normal? The stock market is highly overpriced. It's fake. And they can't keep it forever, and you're putting your hard-earned wealth and retirement savings in that, I'd be cautious of it. I can't get into these others because they're kind of complicated, so I'll wait. It's showing you housing. It's showing you other indicators, auto loans, student loans. Student loan debt right now is as high as the housing market debt was when it collapsed in 2008, roughly $1.3 trillion. Auto loans have seen dramatic spikes 90 days late, and repos. They're not telling you. Morgan Stanley came out and said that they see used car prices dropping 50% in the near future. They're telling you everything's okay. Wait until you see the data we'll have next week to back some of that up. It's raw, it's real, and yet it was only housing in 2008, and I can show you 4 or 5 markets just like that right now. It only takes one before they all come down. I'm telling you, it's 2008 on steroids. So if anything, hey, let's just get prepared. Let's get protected. So we'll catch you next week.
Be a good manager and don't wait too late to be prepared. You can get more information at wealthtransfernews.org. We'll be back next week, same place, same time. See you then.
Cornerstone Asset Metals is here to help you secure your financial future by protecting and preserving your assets through silver and gold. The protection and preservation of your investment is our first goal. So we are here to serve you with honesty, transparency, and respect. And for a limited time, Cornerstone will waive your first-year transfer and setup fees when you roll over your current IRA into a gold or silver IRA. That can save you as much as $1,000. Take control of your future. Register on our website at cornerstoneassetmetals.com or give us a call at 888-747-3309. At Cornerstone, securing your future is our goal.